Hi everybody, welcome back to the workshop. Today we've got in a Brother Super Ace 3 computerised machine. Customer tells me that it is looping underneath the fabric, which is normally caused by a bad top tension. So we'll have a look at that, give it a quick run, check it's doing everything. It is. Give it a bit of a zigzag to do, which is good. I'll give it a give it something, a stretch stitch to do, which it's doing. Nothing's hitting everything. Everything's doing everything it should be. Very nice. Speed. Changes the thickness of the stitch. I've not actually seen one of these before. I've seen Super Ace, but not this one, so just working my way around this one. Needle threader's missing, so they obviously don't use that. Okay, first thing to do is to strip it down. Take the needle plate off first. Nice and tight. That's good. Just undo these couple of screws on the plate. One there, one there. Ooh, lots of fluff in there. If there's lots of fluff down there, there's probably a hell of a lot of fluff upstairs. God, it feels very tight by hand as well. So, need to sort that out. The foot won't stay up on its own, it keeps dropping down, so I'll have to sort that out as well. Give it a quick blowout. Lots of fluff there. Just try and get this into a position so I can take the bobbin case out. A tight fit in there. Get the hook in the right position. Give it a bit of a blow. I'll give it a proper blowout when I've got the casing off. Okay, first thing on these usually is around the back. That's where the screws are hidden away. The screwdriver's back. That's my main one there. That should come off there. And the one at the top. That's just a normal screw that goes into the front casing. That's a machine screw, goes in the back. That's a bit longer than most because it holds that side cover on as well. Put the screw in there. Not too many screws holding this together by the looks of it. That one there holds the end panel on. Lots of fluff in there. Leave the screw with that one so we know where it goes. Then we have to find the rest of the screws. Probably the bottom. There'll be one on this end here holding the front panel on. there, as that comes off. Let's check in here. That clips together. That comes away. Can't see anything else holding it together. I imagine we need to take the back off to get the screws that hold the front on. Normally you have to lift up this little flap here, if you can see what I'm doing here. But this one here, get a screwdriver, just lift this up. Lift that casing up there. And then push that back. Normally releases it. So that of having three hands all doing the same job. That's going. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bottom screws out because that's obviously holding it all together. And these are Torx screws, I think they normally use. It could be that one there, which it is. 2009 this was last looked at. This machine's got a date on the bottom. It's now 2025. So I could probably do with a service. It's very stiff. We'll get some lubrication through it, sort the fluff out that's causing the tension issues. Just unplug it a second. Just got to find my way around this first of all. There's a hidden screw at the back here, but that might be for an adjustment rather than a screw. Let's have a look. No. Take this end panel off. Might open up some screws for us to get to. Very clever, these manufacturers, how they hide stuff away. Very good for you to watch and see what I'm doing when I'm throwing it around a bit, but that's it. All on clips, and in the end we can get to the end. That's the end off. That's in my safe, and then we can check in here and see if there's any screws. Sometimes there's screws deep down in the body, holding the body on. I don't think there are in this case. No. Again, we've got to try and ease it out nice and gently. This is going to have cables connected to this panel, so we don't want to pull it too tight. Oh, there's another screw on the end there that I missed. Tiny little Phillips screw. Just loosen that off. That'll let that panel come away. So, just ease it away gently. It should come away, and then just got to disconnect any cables. Not too many cables. Always a challenge getting all these machines apart. Don't want to damage the cables, that's the last thing you need to do, the connectors. I can get that one out. There's one in the top. Let's gently remove it. There's another one next to it, which we'll gently remove. That's it, those two. And there's one ribbon connector which should just pop out. If I can squeeze it gently, which it has. And that has disconnected everything from it. So now I'm going to lay it on its back. Pull that out. What I need to do now is gently get that off the base. It's actually attached to the base really well. Yeah. So well put together, these machines. That's it. So that brings that off. Here's your connectors here. You've got a ribbon and 2 plugs which go into there, there and there. That's fine. Put that somewhere safe. Now you can see, you better see, let's see what you're seeing. Just down here, all this fluff. And see if we can get this back panel off easy. It's probably held on with some screws. I think there's a screw. Yeah, there's 2 screws there. There's bits of old thread, there's all sorts up here. So if we undo this screw under the bobbin winder, one there, another one just above the main shaft bearing, which is there. Gets the 2 there, and just see what's moving. Let's loosen that off. And is there anything at the bottom? You can see one there. I thought I'd seen all these Super 8 machines over the years, but I've not seen this one before. What's the screw? Need to gently pick it up. There's 3 screws there. Don't know if there's any more. Let's just see. Probably don't need to take this off, but we can get everything if I take this off. When I blow the fluff, it will come out, go out the back rather than into the casing. Okay, so that's there. That's there. Keep hold of the machine. Oops, sorry, not the camera. And there's the back casing. We'll put somewhere safe. And there's the machine stripped down. They don't look as sexy, do they, when they're stripped down? Great big lumps of fluff coming off this. Sorry about the noise. Okay, so we can get to all the shafts and everything now, all the bearings, all the joints, to give it some oil. It's very stiff, as I said before. give the tension a good clean, because that's what causes the issue with looping underneath. I'll check that with a bit of thread before I put it back together again. It's very strong, the spring holding this foot down, presser foot, which is not allowing it to stay up in the up position. To try and find out, let's do that first. See what's causing that. Could just be the shape. It just sits on a cam. I reckon the shape of the cam has rounded off over the years. It's there. I'm not giving it the edge anymore. There's a little on this lever here, it's got a flat point at the top which pushes the bar up. There should be a little notch in there which stops it in the up position, but it's not. So I can either try and tighten that up or file it out. I don't really want to put a new part in because I don't think you'll get them anymore for this. It's very tight, that's the... If we can loosen the spring off a bit, that might help. Let's see if there's any adjustment on the spring. This is all working right. This is the tension release mechanism. So when you lift the foot up, it releases the tension. Lets you take the fabric away without bending the needle. And there's also a little reed switch there which tells the machine the foot's up. That's all working right. Let's just like to get that. So that it stays up. I think it's literally just worn away at the plastic. Just wonder if I can. I'm wondering if I could just file the plastic down a bit to create a groove for it to sit in, but not too much that you can't put the foot back down again. Nuisance. I think we can tighten that. If I could tighten the lever up, then it wouldn't push down so easy. That might be an option. I don't think so. Can't change the... There's no adjustment for pressure on it, so I can't change the pressure. Most machines, or some machines, have a presser foot adjuster, so you can change the tension on the presser foot, but there isn't on this one. Just wondering if I need to see the shape of the part it's lifting. I think it's just rounded it off. It's just made it so flat. There's nothing to stop this pushing down again. It stayed up that time, but you only have to touch it and it's gone. Just wondering if I just get a file and file that. Let's try it. So that would drive me nuts if I was using this machine. I'll try and file a little bit out of this plastic just to create a little step. Machine's all over the place. Not too much, because if I do too much it might make it worse. I'll create a bigger step for it to sit in. It's hard to explain what I'm doing. in position. I don't want to strip the whole lever out because you'd never be able to tell if it's fine with it out. You have to keep putting it back in, which can take some time. If it's taking 10 minutes to put the thing back together again every time I want to try it, it's going to take forever. And the customer's not going to be happy paying for all my time. I just wonder if I just take a little bit out of that. Just there. Just going to disconnect another plug here, and then we can get rid of the base. It's just getting in the way now. That's better. It's sitting a bit flatter now. Get a better look at this now. Just going to wedge this needle bar up with something. What can we use? Maybe a screwdriver. That'd be too big, I think. Let's try a pair of pliers. Big a bit of pliers. I would use my head now. Bad. That's it. Just going to pop that under there. I can have a look at this. The bit the plastic pushes on, I'm trying to change the shape of it so it sits in it more positively and doesn't just sit on the edge and push it back down again. That part there, I don't know if that will come right out of there. Like anything mechanical, you just got to watch what's happening, sort out how to stop that happening. Okay, if I can make this tighter. Might sit there better. I'm just talking to myself now. Yeah, if I can pull that out, makes that a bit tighter. So I might be able to just put a little washer behind that. That might solve the problem. Rather than filing stuff away, just need to find a washer to go behind that to pull this out. What I'm trying to do now is pull this pin out to make this a tighter lift, so it's staying up now. It will be once it's pulled out tight. If this pins out tighter, it stays up easier. So let's have a look in mine. Okay, I have to go away and find find a washer, but what I've done, I put a new spring clip on behind this chrome one. I put a black one behind it, which has pulled that pin back and made it a stiffer. It's not brilliant, but it's certainly a lot better than it was. Now it's going to stay up without feeling too, it's not too tight that it feels bad. I mean, over time it'll probably wear again, but that's pulled that pin forward, which has made it a bit stronger. So I'm going to leave that now as it is. It's much better than it was. It's not perfect, but it saves replacing parts, saves the customer some money, if you can get the part anyway. Okay, next thing to do, we've got to get some lubrication into this because it is bone dry. Start off at this end, get some onto the main bearings. I've disconnected the power from this, so I can't run it. I'm going to have to do it by hand. It probably wouldn't run that well anyway with this cover off, because it would probably run straight, but I'll work it in by hand, and then at the end I might just plug it in quickly and run it. We can loosen it off, but it is bone dry. The last date on it that's been looked at was 2009, so as you can see, it's not the easiest thing to get apart, and I doubt very much the customer's ever taken that apart themselves. Because you wouldn't want to be fiddling around with this if you don't know how to get it back together again. Just checking the timing while I'm here. Timing's good. You normally know when it's in for timing because the customer will tell you it's missing stitches. And this is just looping up underneath, so pretty guaranteed the fluff's caused that. I hope it is, because I won't know till I put it back together again. Lots of oil in the right places, not too much. Just turns needle left and right, check that's working, which it is. There's not a lot on top to oil, to be honest, because it's all, there's no gears on this, it's all done with step motors. This here is the mechanism that releases the machine when the bobbin's winding. Oops, pull the belt off. If you turn it here, you can't turn the bobbin winder, that's why I'm doing it with the belt. Bit of oil in there, not too much. That's all good. Then when you push that across, this comes across and picks up the main shaft. So you need to check that bit's free. Got a bit of lubrication down there so it doesn't get stuck. Perfect. Flick it onto its back. So I can have a look down here. Not a lot mechanical down the bottom, to be honest. It's just a shaft which runs the hook gear and the feed dogs. The step motor changes the direction of the feed dogs for stretch, stitch and reverse, and your stitch length obviously. You've got a nylon part here which doesn't do anything at all. I'm pretty sure that is for the automatic thread cutter if it had one, which it hasn't. It's an option on one of the other Ace machines. Automatic thread cutter. Quite good actually. More fluff. We'll make sure we got it all out. A few years of fluffing this baby. I'll have to pick some out with some tweezers. Like to get it all out. The end of the world if you miss a little bit, but while I've got it apart, you might as well do the job properly. You get stuck in the actual worm of the gear, the fluff, which puts strain on and everything. It's all good. This here is the feed dog drop. So it drops the feed dog down for doing embroidery. Let's check that's working. Yep, that's engaged and that's disengaged. A little bit more fluff down here, I see. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit that can go in the wrong place, so lovely. Right, when I've done that, I just need to put a drop more oil down there because the compressed air blows the oil away. That's lovely. Let's check I've got all the oiling points done. Can't see a lot in these. It's good. I think what I'll do now some more. Still picking up bits of fluff in here. Let me just turn it and try and pick it up as we go round. I can't really show you what I'm doing, it's just right down into the machine. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the base back on, connect up the electrics, and see if I can plug it in and run it. It might just run a straight stitch without anything connected here because it doesn't know what to do. It might not run at all. Let's find out. Give that a good clean while it's out. Okay, so that sits there, that goes through there, up and over, connects into this little plug here. I have to turn it to me so I can see it. Not much fun for the viewer, I'm afraid, but I've got to get it done. I'm so busy at the moment, we've got 20 odd machines to do. Right, I can't spend ages showing you what I'm doing. Always fiddly getting the wiring back together. I'm trying to show you what I'm doing, but I really don't think you can see. This is just a 2-pin connector which connects to the main lead. The lead plugs in there, so I'm just putting, that's your supply in to the machine. So now I can sit it on there, plug a lead in, see what happens. That's that. That's all. Got power. Plug the foot control in. I can find it. It'd be nice if I can just run the machine slowly. That's good. It will only run slowly because I haven't got the speed controller. So this way now I can just work some more oil into the moving parts. Free it up a bit before I put it all back together again. It's all very well doing it by hand, but if you can run it, it's much easier. Everything moving as it should. Stuffed. If you are trying this yourself, just keep away from everything here, all this electronics, if you're running it. It only takes you to touch something wrong and it will blow the board, or can blow the board. Push that across. Winding the bobbin nicely. Nice strong rubber ring on it. That engages back again. Yeah, it's lovely. I'm happy with that. Everything's lubricated now. All the joints. And it feels a little bit freer to turn by hand, which is what you're trying to achieve. So I'm going to do now, disconnect the electrics, so we're back to a dead machine. Now we've got to try and put everything back together again. It shouldn't be too bad. First things first, there's a rear cover, so this just slips through there. It'll all push together, I imagine. Oh, make sure this handle's up. Rookie error. That's it. The handle's up. Make sure the casing is moving into position. Don't worry about the base too much at the moment, because you've got to try and build that into the base as you do it. In fact, it might be an idea to just slip it under the base. Get the two locating parts in. There's one, there's two. Pressure's kicked in again. We'll bring this back. The handle that stops it on this machine, so if you can hear me, you've got to be aware of the handle. Sorry, I did say you've got to be aware of the handle that you lift the machine with. Has to be in the right place. Get those two locating bits in there. There and there, you see what I'm doing? Yeah, so there's these two lugs here have to hook into the There's another 2 here for the front panel. So once we've done that, we'll stand the machine up. Just be very careful not to push on the electronics. Even with the machine off, you can damage them. And then try and stand the machine up into position. It's all good. Get it into position, and then we can get these screws back in that we took out earlier. I think there was 3 or 4, wasn't there? So we have a screw just above the shaft. Don't have to be too tight, otherwise you'll strip the threads and it won't hold it all together. Push this bobbin winder across again and find the hole here. That's another one there. And then we had one all the way back here. Machine on its back with another steady hand. Nice and gently there. So 1, 2, 3. I think there was only 3. It is a fiddly job, these, especially with this base. The base causes the issues on this. You can't put it on last because you've got to hook everything into it. That's good. Right, 1, 2, 3. And then we get the front cover. Front cover's a little trickier because we've got to plug everything back in again. And if I'm going to try and show you what I'm doing, I probably want to be about there. Maybe around a little bit more there. So we're going to try and show you what I'm doing. I've got a ribbon and 2 plugs, that's all. The ribbon, I normally use 2 hands just to guide it into the connector and just gently push. Some of these have a little release lever, but this doesn't. You just got to push it firmly into position, left and right, and work it in. That's good. And these 2 here, this small one here, which I think goes to the maybe the speed sensor, and then this bigger plug here goes off to the buttons. Yeah, up and down button, reverse button, and that's it. That's all you've got there. So we're going to push that in nice and gently, get everything in. That's it. It's nice. When you hear a little click, you normally know it's done its thing. Really need to fiddle around to get the bottom into that base again. I say the base is the problem with these. It's the tricky bit. So I'm going to trip it up on its back, gently so, and then we're going to try and work in. See what you can see. What I'm trying to do now is get these 2 lugs here, these white lugs, into these 2 grooves. So you've got to sort of pull it out, stretch it over, get it in, bearing in mind you've got those cables you mustn't disconnect. It is very fiddly. Don't recommend this if you're not used to doing stuff like this. It is a pain. You need all sorts of tools and gadgets just to pull it into position. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. That's it. So the right tool, right job. I'm going to put these screws back in the base before I stand it up and find them, which is that one and that one. Again, torque screws, so they haven't made it easy for us. We've got one in here. Oops, dropped it, find it in a sec. It's all a matter of getting it to line up. And it always does, because that's where you found it. Always goes back to where it was. Right, just loosely put that one in first. And we've got to find the other screw. I think it's, I don't know where they go now. So many whole screws down here. Yeah, those two. So one in there. It's a matter of just moving the machine around till you find the hole. That's good. Don't do them up tight yet. Get them all in loosely, and then it all lines up, and then you can do your thing. It should be in line now. That's it. So there's all three in line. 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit tight. I'm just going to pop that in again. Try and lift this one up a little bit. It goes in looser. It's better. But I'm just going to go for it now and tighten them three up. Okay, so these tops are in there now, all located, so we can stand it up now. Get rid of that torque screwdriver, we don't need that again. Now we can work everything in, so it's all doing its thing. So we've got a little screw down the end here, which we've got to tighten back up. Lovely. That's clipped into place. Got a screw here. Check everything's in. Like that. There's not a lot else really holding it all together. There's one screw in the back, which is just there, which is this sort of tapper, which holds the top on. And then you've got that long one there. And a short one there. Goes over there. Lovely. And so this needle threader is in there. I've put a drop of oil in, but they don't use it. It's all been needle threaders missing anyway. But, some people don't use them. I very rarely use them. It's another thing to go wrong, isn't it? That goes in position like so. Little fiddle around. And put the screw in for starting this. Get it it started. Yeah, that pushes this down. I might as well oil it up. Doesn't do a lot. Let's bring the needle up, that'll help. That's it, so it's a bit smoother now. If somebody wants to pop the needle threader back on, it'll work now. It's all good. That snaps into place. Put the screw on the back to stop it falling off. Yeah, lovely. I'm just going to turn it on, make sure everything's working before I put the side panel on. I'm sure it will be. Right, so give it a zigzag to do, which it is. Makes it wider, it changes the stitch. Makes it longer. We'll give it a stretch stitch to do. It's all doing its thing. Press this here, makes the needle finish in the down position. That's working. Just checking the reverse. Yeah, that's working. That'll do a single stitch. There's your speed control. Yeah, everything's working. That's good. So we can put the side panel back on now. Don't need to disconnect these again. Pop this into place. A little bit fiddly. It sort of snaps itself into where it should be. Needs to go forwards. A little bit fiddly. That's it. So that's all in place now. Just pop this screw in the end. That all lines up. This little plug goes back on now. Cover the screw hole. We're ready to sew. Just check everything here is in place. Which it is. Bit there goes into position. Good. Alright, let's plug it all in again. Get the bobbin wound. Bobbin case in, set the tensions and give it a sew. I reckon it will sew nicely now. First thing to do, put some thread on. Lady hasn't supplied me any bobbins, I don't think, unless there's some in here. Smells like there might be. No, it's just feet. Got a bit of blower. As you change the foot. Change the foot. Find one of my bobbins. I'll probably do it. That's good, tension feels nice. I'll use one of my bobbins on this. Little drop of oil on the hook, just underneath where the bobbin case sits. I'll take this needle out. It's very tight. Put a new one in a second. Let me just get this bobbin case in. A little bit fiddly getting this in. You don't want to be taking this out too often. Really tight to get in and out. Really old job. Came out. This has got to go back. It's got to get it into position. A bit fiddly. Fiddly. Okay, we'll do it the easier way. We'll take the little finger out that holds it in place. Try and avoid doing this if you can. If you're doing it, try and get it in. That's going to be much quicker for me. Got that into place, just got to put this little finger back in position. That's quite tricky, that. Get that in. That's too much. Move that across. What's that I've dropped? That's the bobbin. Not to get that. It really goes that far, doesn't it? Okay. Sorry, I spend a lot of this video talking to myself. That's it. Right, so it's got a gap there now. Put the needle back in. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to check that the thread goes around the bobbin case and get pulled back up again without any snags. You get snags, you get bad tension, so that could have been another reason why it's come in, but I don't think so. I think it was fluff. Just making a little noise, don't know why. Tapping on this, and I'm thinking it's the bobbin case. I don't want that to happen, so I'm just going to move that across slightly. See if I can stop that little tapping noise which is created by this finger. Push that up and down. Caught in the bobbin case slightly, which is unusual. Sounds a bit better. That's it. I'm just going to see if I can find that bobbin that I've just dropped. Found it. That goes under there. Presser foot stays up on its own now, which is nice. It's been driving the customer mad. Now it stays up. Pops down easy enough, but at least it stays up on its own. Okay, so we get the thread, make sure the foot's up, which it is. Under there. Round there, back round the take up lever, back down again, following the guides through. Through number 5, through number 6. Thread the needle, front to back on this one. Flat side of the needle's at the back, always opposite the side you're threading it from. Down and up, pull that up for some reason. Maybe there's not enough thread. My fault, I think. Just had the bobbin again. Yeah. Now the luck and pull. There she is. Okay. So it automatically sets to a straight stitch. A short one, let's just make that a little bit bigger. Do number 2 maybe in the middle. How do you get to number 2? Maybe that one. Sounds nice. It's forming the stitch, which is always a bonus. Doesn't seem to be moving. Why is that? Teeth have dropped down for some reason. Quite know why. Yeah, this little thing here is not working, is it? That's it. That's gone up again. That was a little bit stiff, I think. So I just caught this lever, I think I did it halfway between up and down. Let's give it a zigzag to use. Again, we can have some width. A bit wider, a bit longer. Stitch is lovely, perfect formation. Right, let's give it something else to do. Little stitch there. Another one to do there. On this machine you have to override the the width, giving it a bit wider. It runs nicely. Some patterns it won't go full speed, it will only do half speed. That's good, there's no looping underneath, which is what it came in for. Tension's fine. Get some length. There's something wrong with the mechanism that's doing the teeth. Let's get the teeth down. There's a bit of an issue with the teeth on this, that are coming up and down. That's with the teeth down. It's working fine. Very strange. It's that foot. Let's try a different foot. I think that foot's causing problems. Okay, I don't know how much you missed of that, but I ran out of battery and didn't realise. So as I was saying, I'm giving it a good sew. There was a problem with the foot, presser foot. It was had a little nick on it, which was catching the thread and not letting the fabric go under it. Not that problem now, it's all good. Just giving it another sew just to make sure everything's smooth, which it is. Give it a bit more length. You have to override it on here all the time. Oh, that one there I should be doing. Check the reverse works, which it does. Got a little pattern to do. 21, we need to give it some length. Try that other foot. Give it some more length.